Hello my YouTube beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today is a very exciting video because look what came in the mail. This is the RawBeautyKristi and ColourPop collab that she just recently launched. I got my hands on it. Now by the time I actually got to the website, a lot of the things were sold out. I really wanted to get to the eyeliners, but I was unable to get those. But I did pick up some of the lip glosses, a super soft shadow, and then of course at Forest Site eyeshadow palette. So if you are pumped and ready to see how these perform, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe because I do upload every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So I'm channeling my inner Kristi here because I got this really comfy sweatshirt from Old Navy or Gap, one of the two, and it is the perfect forest green for this video. So I have the rest of my makeup on. I am going to be applying all of these products, showing you how they perform, and also doing some live swatches at the very end. So be sure to stick around for that as well. First, I'm going to be using the At Forest Site eyeshadow palette. This retails for $20, which is pretty on par with a lot of the other ColourPop priced items. Before I go any further though, I do want to congratulate Kristi because OMG, she just launched so many things. I have another video reviewing her pure double-sided palette, so if you missed that, I will link it down below, but that was amazing as well. And so proud of her for this collab. It's so on brand for her. And then also she's gonna be a mom soon, so I'm just want to throw my love out to her because she is doing some amazing things. So next we have the ColourPop Super Shock Shadow. Now I purchased mine in the shade Mycelium. I thought this shade in particular would be the one that I use the most. I was kind of contemplating getting some of the other Super Shock, but then I was like, do I really use the Super Shock shadows anymore? Not really, but I do really like this color. So this one retailed for $7. And then I got both lip glosses that she came out with. One shade is Wildflower and the other is Glacier. One's a very pretty like peachy pink and the other one is an icy champagne color, and those each retailed for $9. So I have you nice and up close here. Just want you guys to be able to really see how these are performing, but I have yet to open these. I know nothing about what they look like. I mean, of course, I watched her video, so I know what they look like, but I haven't opened them in person yet. So here's an up close look at the palette. It says At Forest Site. It has raised and reflective writing, and then the mushrooms are reflective as well. So let's go ahead and open it up. I do want to use the Super Shock Shadow as my main lid shade, but I do really want to use the greens in the palette. I never really use the greens. Stepping out of my comfort zone. As you can see, the mushrooms and the At Forest Site lettering, they are not a full matte. And here are the shades. I thought it was really cool the way that she described how she came up with each of these shades. First off, these are very different shades than I would normally use for an everyday eyeshadow palette. I'm not seeing myself using this every day. I think the pure palette that she came out with is more up that alley, but I do love this for some pops of color and I think it fits very in theme with the fall time. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the shade Puffball. It is this shade right here. Seems like the most neutral brown crease shade. Okay, these are very dusty, very soft shades. And I did also use the Cinema Secrets to clean off all my brushes before I went in with this palette. I'm just taking that and putting that all over the crease. Seems like a really good neutral brown as a transition for a lot of these other shades that are in here. Looks very nice and that blended really well. I love the ColourPop eyeshadow palettes, by the way. The ColourPop, what is it? Night Owl palette, that's one of my favorites. I do love these like mini palettes. I find that I use them the most. I'm not really reaching for big bulky palettes anymore. I'm gonna go deep today, you guys. I'm pushing myself out of that little comfort box and we are trying some different shades. So I think I'm going to take, I don't know, there's a lot of really pretty shades in here. I don't know if they all go together necessarily. Like I think you have a good transition shade here and then some pops of like color, but not, I don't know, it just seems like some of the shades are bold enough that you kind of need to just make your look around that color rather than combining a lot of the colors in this palette. But I do think I'm going to play around with these bottom three right here, these two greens and then the blue, because those are like what I was really excited for in this palette, even though I don't play around with these shades very much. I'm going to take a smaller fluffy brush and go in with the shade Fiddlehead. It is this shade right here. kind of building it up in the outer V. I am open to doing kind of a halo eye today. So maybe I could use these darker green shades in the inner and outer part of my eye, and then add the other shade, the Super Sock Shadow on top. This shade very much reminds me of the green that came in the Huda Beauty, except it's a little bit more of that forest green instead of a green brown. So I'm not really bringing that into the crease, but I am keeping it pretty condensed in that outer V right there. I think I need a flat brush. Let's go in with this one. Take that same Fiddlehead shade, just adding it to the inner part of my eye. I'm not like amazing at these kinds of eye looks, but I will try. I think I'm going to go in with a different kind of denser fluffy brush. Going with the shade Emerald City. I'm very into the shade. It is this one right here. I'm adding that just kind of on top in the outer V. Again, wanting to deepen up right there. It's a really pretty shade and it matches my, little sweater I'm wearing. Okay, now I'm gonna take a little bit of that shade, just lightly, and start kind of dragging it into the crease just a tad. Okay, that's actually blending really nicely. It's a lot less scary than I thought. Usually when I go in with dark green shades like this, they don't blend very well. This is blending really nicely. Now I think I'm gonna flip over this flat brush that we used, go in a little bit with Emerald City, that inner part of my eye. Just kind of on top of that other shade. Kind of like that. It's actually looking kind of cool. Okay, I think I have the halo kind of looking how I want it to. Like I said, I'm not an expert in halo eyes, but I think it's looking pretty good. So now I'm going to take this Super Shock Shadow, again in the shade Mycelium. I think a lot of these are named after mushrooms. Okay, I already ripped the packaging, cool. Ooh, it doesn't come in the normal Super Shock packaging. It does come in a forest green kind of packaging, and that is the shade Mycelium. So pretty, so excited to use this. I'm gonna dip my finger. Okay. Maybe what I'll do before that, actually, I really want to use this evergreen shade, this right here. So I think I'm going to pop that kind of in the center and then pop the Super Shock Shadow on top of it. That's a pretty shade. So, I mean, that could be its halo eye in itself. Now I'm going to take Mycelium, which feels so nice. I haven't gotten a new Super Shock Shadow in a hot minute. I'm going to add that kind of right on top. Okay, that is stunning. So pretty. Probably the happiest I've ever been with a green eye look like this. Now I'm going to work on my lower lash line. Let's see about kind of matching what we did on the top lash line. So I'm going to take this Fiddlehead shade. It was more of the army green on a flat definer. Just kind of taking it in the outer V a little bit. Oh, I should have brought a black liner. I don't know why I didn't. I'm gonna have to go grab that. Now I do want to use that blue, so I might take the shade PNW right on top in the very outer outer part of my eye. Then I'm gonna smoke it out with nothing on a pencil brush. Just very lightly. I don't really want to drag it in, kind of keeping them separated. I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did on the top lashes. This West Coast shade is like so pretty. Look at that too. I'm going to take the shade Evergreen very lightly on my finger, putting it like kind of in the center of my lower lash line. And then I'm going to take the Super Shock Shadow as well. Go right over that. I do think that Kristi did a really good job at pairing two lid shades with pretty much every color in this palette. Like there's a lot of mattes and there's only two shimmers, but these two shimmers can go with pretty much anything that you create. So here is an up close look at the eyes so far. Really, really pretty. I'm so happy and this turned out really, really well. I'm going to quickly go and get a black liner and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I grabbed actually a brown liner. I thought that would go really well with this look. Again, if I got the green liner, that would have went really well. All right, yes, very much loving this eye look. I'm gonna go ahead and do my mascara and I'll be right back. Okay, this is the prettiest eye look I think I've done in so long. It is gorgeous. And here is an up close look. Okay guys, I am blown away by this palette. I really only used a few shades to make this whole look come together. I will say if you are someone that is scared of greens, you need to try this palette because they blend so well. They're not gonna look splotchy or really bad like a lot of other greens do. I, for one, have very much avoided greens because they all do this like weird, patchy, yucky looking thing on my eye. And this is not that at all. I think that it is totally a palette that even beginners in makeup can use, even though like it is pops of color, because they blend so well. The shades that I used at least were very effortless to apply and they made a very nice look and were not like patchy at all. So again, love the eye look. 100% obsessed with this look. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the lip glosses now. I'm not going to be applying lip liner just so you can really see what they are looking like just on the bare lips. Let's go ahead and start with the shade Glacier. When I saw Kristi saying this was her favorite, and I'm like, I know, you know, what shades usually she likes, and they're not normally the ones that I love for a lip gloss. Like, I don't love just a clear gloss on nude lips. I'm not that kind of person. But when she showed this on her lips, I was like, oh my goodness, that is gorgeous. Here is what the lip gloss looks like. It says Luxe Gloss on it, and then it has the green lid and the mushrooms on it. So this Glacier shade is the more like icy white kind of looking one. It looks extremely sparkly. Let's go ahead and see how this does. It smells like the rest of the Luxe glosses that I own. I would say that this is not my jam to just wear it on its own. One thing I don't like about the Luxe glosses is you try and push it down and it just kind of like comes back up. So you really have to push this baby in to get it to seal. So here is what the gloss Glacier looks like. It is very glossy. I can definitely tell it's going to stay on your lips for a really long time. It does feel very much like the other Luxe gloss formulas. It is very sparkly, very pretty, but for myself, I would have to apply some kind of lip product underneath it and then add this on top. The gloss is very pretty though, and I can see it being super pretty on like a mauvey, peachy pink kind of lip product underneath. All right, now let's go in with the shade Wildflower, which I think is gonna be my favorite. Oh yeah, oh, this is a little bit more cool tone than I was anticipating. So that is the shade Wildflower. Now this looks like it does have some micro glitters in it. It's not nearly as glittery as the Glacier gloss. Okay, this is very, very pretty. Again, I would wear it over some kind of other lip product, but it is very glossy. The other one is so glittery, but this one is a little bit more of a pigment, like it's a little bit more pigmented, but it's less glittery than the Glacier shade. So there we have it, you guys. Let's go ahead and do some live swatches now. I guess since we are on lip glosses, let's go ahead and do the glosses. So first let's swatch the shade Glacier. All right, so that is the shade Glacier. And then the one below it is Wildflower. Both super pretty, both very different, but I think go really well with this collection. And I will say that they are different than some of the other Luxe glosses that I already own. So I don't think that if you purchase these, you're getting like replicas of other ones. I definitely think that she put a lot of thought into how can I make these different than what ColourPop already has. Let's swatch the Super Shock Shadow in the shade Mycelium. This is the Super Shock Shadow. So pretty, like just unbelievably pretty. Probably one of my favorite Super Shock shades I've ever owned. Now let's swatch the eyeshadow palette. So again, this is what the palette looks like. Let's go ahead and do the first row. I will be swatching in like from left to right. Wow, very, very soft. All right, this is the first row in the palette. This shade right here is called Puffball. Next one down is Chanterelle. Third one in is Rainier, and the last shadow there is Old Growth. Oh, and by the way, these are all one swatch. I'm not going in multiple times. Next row down in the palette, we have the shade Evergreen, West Coast. Third one down is Homegrown. And this last shade is called Amantia. So gorgeous. The shade swatched so well, and so did both of the shimmers. Last row in the palette, we have the shade Fiddlehead, Emerald City, PNW, which you guys, that swatch, oh my gosh, it is so pigmented. Then we have the last shade Let It Rain, and now this is kind of a black with some red and gold little sparkles in it. All right, you guys, and that is everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, found it helpful. If you guys see this collection come back in stock, you need to buy it ASAP. It is one of the best, I think, ColourPop collections that has ever come out, and I'm just so happy and proud of RawBeautyKristi. This is an amazing collection, and I'm so excited I got my hands on it. If you guys have picked up this collection, let me know your thoughts down below. What did you pick up? What are you liking? But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.